The Farmer and the Cowman. In a quiet, sprawling village nestled amidst verdant hills and meandering rivers, there lived two men whose lives were inextricably intertwined by the land they worked. One was a hard-working farmer named Arvind, whose life revolved around the fertile fields he tilled from dawn until dusk, planting crops and nurturing them with the utmost care. His days were a rhythmic cycle of sowing seeds, tending to the soil, and harvesting the bounties of his labor. Arvind's field was his pride, a mosaic of greens and golds that spoke of his dedication and the long hours he spent ensuring that his crops thrived. The other was a cowman named Ravi, who with a gentler touch tended to a herd of cows that roamed freely in pastures adjoining Arvind's land. Ravi's life was a harmonious dance with nature, filled with the soothing rhythm of the cows, lowing and the gentle rustling of the grass as the herd moved from one pasture to another. Though their work was different, both Arvind and Ravi shared a common goal: to make a living from the land and provide for their families. However, despite this shared purpose, the two men were often at odds due to their differing methods and perspectives. Arvind's focus was primarily on maximizing the yield of his crops, while Ravi's concern was the well-being of his cows and the preservation of their pasture land. As time passed, the differences between Arvind and Ravi grew more pronounced. Arvind, driven by a desire to increase his profits, began to use more intensive farming techniques that required him to encroach upon Ravi's pastures. He expanded his fields, often disregarding the natural boundaries that had previously kept the land divided and the ecosystem balanced. This encroachment led to friction between the two men, as Ravi found his cows' grazing areas shrinking and the quality of the pasture deteriorating. He approached Arvind with concerns, pleading for a reconsideration of his farming practices and a return to a more balanced approach. Arvind, however, was resolute in his belief that the land's primary purpose was to yield crops, and he viewed Ravi's concerns as an impediment to his success. This discord reached a boiling point when a particularly harsh winter arrived, exacerbating the already strained relationship. The scarcity of resources forced both Arvind and Ravi into desperate measures, leading to further conflict and animosity. The once peaceful village was now fraught with tension, and the two men's quarrels had become the talk of the community. The turning point came one evening when a violent storm struck the village, causing widespread damage and leaving both Arvind's fields and Ravi's pastures in disarray. The storm's aftermath revealed the extent of the destruction, and the once proud fields were now a sea of mud and debris, while the pastures were left in a state of disrepair. In the face of this calamity, the villagers came together to offer support and aid. Arvind and Ravi, seeing the community's solidarity and the futility of their quarrels, were forced to confront their own shortcomings. Both men realized that their individual struggles were part of a larger, interconnected system, and that their actions had consequences beyond their immediate concerns. With a newfound sense of humility and understanding, Arvind and Ravi began to work together to repair the damage. They combined their skills and resources, restoring the pastures and replanting the crops with a renewed sense of collaboration and respect for each other's work. Through their joint efforts, Arvind and Ravi learned the value of mutual respect and the importance of balancing progress with preservation. They discovered that their livelihoods were not separate entities, but were intricately linked by the land they both relied upon. The experience taught them that the success of one could not come at the expense of the other, and that harmony was essential for the well-being of their shared environment. In the end, their cooperation not only restored their individual pursuits, but also strengthened their bond, leading to a more prosperous and unified community. The story of the farmer and the cowman became a cherished lesson in the village, a reminder of the power of understanding and the necessity of working together for the greater good.